Welcome back to Deadly Dames and our second video on reviewing Rob Zombie's films. So we're looking at Halloween 2. So on the first one we spoke about Halloween 1 and how it gets a lot of bad press, but actually, you know what, it's a good movie, so give it a go. However, Halloween 2, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll start with the things that we like before we go into the things we didn't like. So in my personal opinion, the first 10 minutes of this movie is the best part of the film. I really liked the first 10 minutes of this movie. It's pretty much a carbon copy of the original Halloween 2. You know, Laurie wakes up in the hospital.
Up to a point.
Up to a point, yeah, but it is the same storyline. So Laurie wakes up in the hospital. Michael Myers is also in the hospital, and Carnage unloads. So it's very, very brutal. The first 10 minutes of this movie, there's some extreme deaths at the beginning. But I like it. It was good, it was fast paced, it kept you going. You didn't expect it because you kind of thought, I didn't really think they were going to do the same as the original Halloween 2, but I really liked it.
I liked it, unlike the original Halloween 2, that when Laurie was brought into the hospital, she was still like screaming, and you could tell that she had broken bones and she was in a hell of a state and she was getting stitches and surgery. And so I liked it, it showed you that actually in the original Halloween 2, Laurie has a twisted ankle and she's got a drip. Whoop-de-doo. After her ordeal, that's all she had.
Whereas in this one, she was battered the life out of.
Aye, she was in a hell of a mess, and after an encounter with Michael Myers, you're probably going to be in a state. You're not going to just have a twisted ankle and a cut shoulder. So I quite liked that they showed you the mess that she was in.
What I also liked after, well, I know we're staying on likes, but we have to say a slight dislike after what we just said, because then you discover that really good 10 minutes of footage is actually a dream.
Well, I think her getting brought into hospital is probably
her remembering.
I think the dreams or the nightmare part of it, where Michael was actually in the hospital killing the nurses and trying to get her, I think that was just her. Well, you would be scared that could happen. So you find out that bit's actually a nightmare sequence. But I quite like that.
If I'm honest with you,
always going to have nightmares about.
If I'm honest with you, I would like to see a version of the movie that carries on from there. I'd like to have known what happened the rest of that night. But that's not what happens in this film. So
I think if he'd made a Halloween 2 where it was like the whole night, I think it could have been very interesting. It probably would have been very brutal. But I also think it would have been too much like the original Halloween 2. So people would have said, you just did like maybe the last third of the first Halloween film just had a lot of the good bits of the original Halloween stuffed into it, and now the second one's out and it's just the exact same as the original Halloween 2. So I don't think he could have done that without getting even more criticism.
It's true.
I think it was good that he showed you the lasting impact of what had happened. So what happens?
We did disagree with something though, because when she wakes up and then you realise that she's now staying with Daniela Harris's character, I can't remember her name, Annie, and her dad, the sheriff. She's got like a what do you call them? Manson.
The Manson family poster
on her wall. And you think, well, hold on a second. If you'd been through all that, why on earth do you have a poster of like a psycho on your wall? But anyway, that's just like a minor detail. We gave the movie a chance. We went in, because when we first went to see this at the cinema, we walked out literally saying, what a pile of shit. And we did. But we did. We're like, that was crap. But we thought, right, let's rewatch it. Let's take it like a new slate and not remember what we remembered when we thought it was crap.
I would try to just go in with a clear mind and
judge it again. So That's what we did with this movie. So when it then became a dream and we were like, we remember why we didn't like that bit again. And then it started off the real story. So it's basically set 1 year after the events of the first Halloween. I really liked the look of Michael Myers. I liked that he was feral, because let's face it, who's going to shave him? He's not going to shave himself, so of course he'd have a great big beard. I liked that. I liked that he was dirty.
But where did he put that beard when he had the mask on?
It was sticking out underneath.
Was it? I didn't notice that.
It was sticking out underneath. Okay. And then I liked that he still had the mask, and the mask was like falling to bits, but he still put it on. Because let's face it, after, like, think of the other Halloween movie, he gets electrocuted, he gets stabbed, he gets shot. That mask would not be perfectly white
No.
and still look like William Shatner. It would not be, right? So I liked that the mask was a state, and I liked that he was a state, because you would, if he'd been living feral in, like, a field, and like he had, he would be stinking, he'd be minging, he'd have loads of beasties.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how he looks in this. I don't like the dream sequences.
No.
I tried to understand. Well, I understand them. I understand that this is their way of trying to make you realise there's still a little boy inside Michael Myers who still longs for his mum. I get it. And I get, really, it was the only way they could kind of show you how Michael Myers was feeling. But personally, I don't really want to know how Michael Myers was feeling. I didn't really want to see the dream sequences with his mum.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that's maybe how they were trying to say, oh look, this is the reason why he's not reappeared until Halloween, because his mum hasn't appeared to tell him to do it, right? Because it is a bit stupid thinking that there's a guy that's so desperately after his sister, but for whatever reason he hid for a whole year until it was Halloween again. So I do get that. I do get that they tried to make it out that voices were speaking to him, and it was his mum's voice and his child voice that was speaking to him, telling him to go get his sister at Halloween time. But I just couldn't, no matter how much I tried to like it, I just couldn't like it. I did like that Laurie had become a bit of a brat.
Mm-hmm. I think though that obviously she was a bit screwed up after everything that happened, and I think that she got away with it because the sheriff felt guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting to see Annie almost in a mother-like role, and Laurie was the one that was screwed up, whereas in the John Carpenter one, Laurie's always like the one that was the sensible.
Yeah.
And so I liked that he changed it, in that you did see her going off the rails, because that
did
probably
not like Annie dying.
No.
Because in the first movie you kind of just see Annie as a stupid teenager, but by the second movie, technically, in my eyes, she was like the survivor. She was like the proper final girl. I don't know if it's just because I really like Daniela Harris, but
I think how she died was horrible.
I know.
Because you really feel annoyed that she's been killed.
He proper tortured her. And yet you get this... I must admit, the Halloween outfits were hilarious. I mean, they dressed up as Rock Horror Picture Show, and the lassie was like, I'm a chick dressed as a dude who wants to be a chick. I thought that was quite funny. Like, so you get her, and she's quite clearly meant to be like a slut, right? Aye. She's meant to be this slutty character. And her death is not that bad. And then you get poor Annie, who's trying to hold her life together, look after her dad, trying to cope with what happened to her, and obviously seeing her boyfriend die. And she's dealing with her best pal, who's completely fucked up in the head. And she gets tortured. I was like, come on. But they know why he's done that. He's done that to hit you. To, like, proper... smack you with the Daniela Harrison death card.
I wonder if he was trying to make you feel sorry for him by having like the scenes where his child self was talking to his mum and all that. So maybe he was trying to make you feel sorry for Michael, but then maybe make you have conflicting feelings by killing Annie in such a brutal way because she's a character that you really like. Personally, I didn't actually care about Michael as a character. I didn't care about him, and I didn't care that if, about his dream sequences or his longing
his reasoning
for his mum.
And his longing for his sister.
I just didn't care about him, but I got the impression that maybe you were supposed to feel a wee bit sorry for him, but I just didn't.
What I did like was Sam Loomis is an even bigger arsehole in this, and he is. He's like 20 million times diva. His death, what a horrible, brutal death, but by the time it comes, you're just like, yeah, he deserved that.
Did he actually die? Somebody got his head?
Smushed his... No, that's in the first one. In the second one, he, like, saws his face.
That's right.
Right, and I was like, oh, yes, he's actually killed him, because I love Sam Loomis in the first one. Mm-hmm. He's like your grandpa with wisdom.
But but the Sam Loomis in the original...
The original I'm talking about.
Knew that they had a monster, and knew that he could never be let out.
And I know a lot of people didn't like the fact that they took this Sam Loomis character who, like from John Carpenter's one and the rest of the Halloween franchise, who everybody loved, who was a good character, he was always out trying to do the right thing, and turned him into a dick. but I kind of liked that. I liked that they took a character that everybody loves and made him different. It's a different movie. It's a remake.
Well,
it's called a remake for a reason.
And in the second film, it was a second book that he'd actually
And he was a
written,
proper diva this
and
time.
he was just an arse. But I think that his anger at Michael getting out in these films was probably more about how he would look than about
what Michael could
because-
do when he's out.
his books were all about how basically the guy was a monster who couldn't be cured, but I think he let his ego get the better of him and potentially created this monster because he wasn't prepared to say, I can't cope.
I can't help this guy,
Aye.
and then let someone else have a go. He was just, I liked his death. I did not like the whole sequence at the end when Laurie then started to see her mother and baby Michael Myers as well. That was stupid.
I think the psychic connection that between Laurie and Michael was a bit not right.
It was stupid.
Now, I don't know if maybe...
As my mum would say, it was naff.
Aye. But you didn't have that in the first Halloween film, so I wondered if maybe the reason for this psychic connection was maybe they were trying to say that she would have gone the same way as him at some point in the future, whether because of what happened after she was attacked by Michael in the first film that would have created the monster that she would have became, or maybe she always would have been that because she was actually in a nice family, she had a good upbringing. So I wondered if maybe Rob Zombie was trying to make you think that she could have become a little bit like Michael herself
I still didn't like it.
by nature. I didn't really enjoy
There
the
was
psychic
certain
connections.
aspects of this movie that I really liked. As I said, the first 10 minutes was great. Like, I remember the very first time we seen it, I was sitting like, because I loved the first
pulls you
10
in.
minutes.
It does pull you in.
I love the character development of Annie. Did not like seeing Annie die, but understand why. I actually loved the character development of the sheriff as well. I didn't care for Laurie. I just thought she was a brat, and I didn't care for Michael Myers. I didn't get the psychic connection in the whole visions of his mum. I got it, but I just didn't care about it. I loved seeing Dr. Loomis die. It was worth for that.
You've got to admit that the scene where she's hiding in the walls of the house was quite tense, and Michael was hammering the crap out of the place to try and
There
get
was
to her.
certainly
So
tense
there were
scenes
tense
in it.
moments, but
There was aspects of this movie that could have been very, very good. I definitely think I'm glad that I rewatched it and I went in with a different, like a fresh set of eyes to watch it, because there are things that are really good in it. What I would say is that if I'm going to pick up one of Rob Zombie's Halloweens to watch, it will be the first one. I can't imagine that I'm going to pick up this one to watch very often. I think probably once every 20 years.
I think
But-
I would have enjoyed this more if, how the first film was about Michael and his upbringing and him becoming like the shape. It would have been good to see more about what happens with Laurie rather than having a mishmash of like her story after being attacked by Michael and then what Michael's going through with these visions of his mum, and I think it was a bit much.
I think it was stretching a little bit too far.
Uh-huh.
I would say that if you haven't seen it, go in and give it a go and don't listen to comments that other people have said. Judge it for yourself. I think a lot of people are too quick to hate something just because a whole load of other folks say it's crap. I mean, we didn't like Bye Bye Man, but if you want to buy it and give it a go, well, that's you wasting a couple of hours of your life. That's nothing to do with us. But yeah, certainly give it a go. See what you think. There are aspects of the movie that are enjoyable. It's definitely not as good as the first Halloween. But hopefully you liked us talking about this, and hopefully we've gone into it being pretty nice. Okay? But as always, any comments, leave them below. And thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and take care.